the bonkers wokery, right? The bonkers wokery of modern Doctor Who, and the bonkers clueless wokery of modern Doctor Who, which has been an absolute crushing failure, right? I think that's something worth talking about. In what an absolute crushing failure it's been. How much of a crushing failure? So, 1 second, let me pull up the Jodie's ratings. Okay, you know what? I'll do it with that chart. I'll say it's on my desktop. Always keep your evidence of Jodie's failings on your desktop. That's what I say, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I say, whether you like it or not. Where is it? Yeah. Over here. Doink. Excellent. Fine. Again. Yeah. Why are you people celebrating? How do you think this is going to go down well? Right? You're in the shit like you have no idea. And I think it's very indicative on the on Thursday night, Friday morning. Like, Starmer did look like he was shitting himself, right? Did very much look like he was shitting himself for good reason. Well, he's such a globalist fuck, isn't he? Anyway, let's talk about Doctor Who. So, if you recall, Doctor Who didn't do very well when it went super woke under Jodie, right? Right? So these ratings may look bad to you, right? But they're way better than they are now, right? Way better than they are now by doing exactly the same thing. So let's work out the average for the season, right? So we have, where is it? Nope, 1 second, somebody sent me a message. All right, fine, let's do the math. And you're lucky I'm doing it on the 7-day, right? Because I don't really believe that. But 4.01 plus 3.91 plus 3.58 plus 4.06 plus 3.38. That's just pathetic, isn't it? It's 3.3. It is really, as a 7-day, man. Did it ever get that low? No. Lowest rated ever. Up me. Legends of the Sea Devils did better. 3.38. 3.52 plus 3.5 plus 3.69. Now divide that into 8. You got an average rating of 3.70. Not going well for it. So, it's not about doing well. It's not about getting ratings for them. They don't really care about doing well or getting ratings. No, they care about ideology. And Exhibit A. Exhibit 7,456,000, we have the clueless Catherine Tate talking about the how she wants to remove all rights for women.
Well, it's
without really understanding it.
It is, of course, my privilege and honour to be able to tell the story of a mother with a trans daughter. And it's
Is that people not clapping? Are they like snapping? Because they don't want to trigger people by clapping? Are they that woke and stupid?
It's important as storytellers, and people.
Why? Why is it important as storytellers to pretend that gender and sexuality and sex are all fluid? Why is that important as a storyteller? It'll be important as a storyteller if you had some kind of weird quasi-religious need to, propagate your insane religion. But most people are not on board for it. And it's the amazing thing. The amount of times you tell us that story doesn't make any difference. You know what really made the difference with the with gay rights? It wasn't them being on EastEnders. It was people knowing gay people coming out of the closet and being gay, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, they were treated very shittily through AIDS. I agree with you. But with trans people, that's not going to work out that way because gay people seem more like people, right? Because the people thing seems to be the important thing here. Trans people Or at least the people that they scream about being trans. Like Yasmin Finney seems much more about being trans than being a person. It's not like, oh, I just want to not be noticed and be a normal girl. No, they want to be, you must believe I'm a woman, even though I have a penis and no physical connection to womanhood whatsoever. And if you don't believe it, you're a bigot, right? Excuse me. Stop telling me what to believe. It's one thing telling me you should believe I'm a decent human being and my sexuality is really not incumbent upon that. I think that's a message that we could all actually believe in. We could all agree with. But to saying that you have to believe physical reality is not so, or you're an evil dictator bigot, no, I don't think that's really on board, darling, right? I don't think it's on board. So, yeah, you need to keep telling the story to try and convince people, and it's still not going to be, it's still not going to work, right?
In the industry, that we take that mantle on and we tell those stories, and we represent everyone. And
if you represented everyone would want to watch. But no, you represent a teeny, tiny segment, or I would say probably 3%, right? Most people don't think people with penises are women. It's just the way it is, right? I don't think they're women. I mean, I'm happy to they have whatever rights you want, as long as they don't infringe or hurt on anybody else, right? So therefore, I don't think they should be. I don't think biological men should compete in female-only sports. I don't think biological women should be told they need to share intimate spaces with people with penises, right? I don't think that's right. I think my views are somewhat representative of more people than Catherine Tate.
Do it with love and humour and kindness and, interest.
How's it kind? Honestly, I mean, stop it. You don't know the truth and I don't know the truth, right? You don't know that if you don't know if somebody's a woman if they identify as a woman or not. I suspect it's not, but it's more your I think it's more your bonkers religion, right? But let's say you're wrong. Let's just say you're wrong. Is it kind to raise somebody with false ideals that will destroy their lives or make them infertile? How is that kind? I think you're being very kind to you and people like David Tennant, who really want to believe they are kind, even though they're morons.
And so it is absolutely my honour and my privilege for Donna to be the mother of everyone.
Yeah, all about her own ego, right? That's all about her own ego and nothing else.
Yes. And I'm so, it's for me, it's so wonderful to have a character, to be able to play a character that is written so brilliantly that she has, just embraced. Just embraced her
complete insanity, narcissism, egotism.
Her daughter in a way that, I know, because I get a lot of, young trans people come up to me and they say, you know what, my parents didn't do that, and that breaks my heart. So,
maybe your parents, right? Maybe your parents don't want you to sterilize yourself and destroy and have your breasts amputated. Right? Maybe your parents don't want you to cut your cock and balls off, and they see there might be a bit of a downside further on in life. Maybe your parents think believing that your physical reality is not is dominant over your desire. It's for your good rather than not your detriment.
I'm all your mama's.
Before I go, I apologize. As someone whose parents didn't do the perfect movie version, it was really nice to see that represented and not criticized of making mistakes, but still the love being.
Right.
What if it was a mistake? What if a mistake that's going to destroy your life? I know you don't want to hear it. I understand you don't want to hear it, but what if it is a mistake, right? And I think you wanting to end all debate before it starts indicates that you're not very confident in your own worldview, right?
And that's really important, isn't it? Because as you say, like
I feel so much better about I feel that I'm a good person, and I didn't really have to do anything about it. But now I can be a good person. Donna, I'm just not. Frankly, I'm not interested in your Doctor Who. Right? I'm really not interested in New Who right now at all. I'm so not on for it. Thank God season 25 is coming out soon.
Perfect movie version. There probably isn't a perfect movie version, but the difference is we're all going to step in it. And it's like I was saying to someone today, I don't know if you're here, and I was saying what I really loved is that the character of Sylvia, my own mother, who is Rose's grandmother, you know, I love that they kept that scene in where she goes, oh, I don't know, should I say she looks nice? Do I say that? Should I not? And then she goes, look, does she? Then that's fine, you know.
No, she doesn't, okay? She's got a big, thick Judge Dredd chin and a giant bulge between her fucking legs. She doesn't look like a beautiful girl. I'm sorry. Telling somebody they look like a beautiful girl when they're like, you know, built like a brick shit house doesn't really work. And then, but thank God she was there in The Face of Sutek because she got to use a tablet. Like, what the fuck?
It's good to see people kind of evolving and working through it, and in the end, it's always coming from love with what's happening. No,
it's coming from self-worship and stupidity, right? Self-worship and stupidity. And we got another clip, actually, very similar to that. Now I think about it. Where is that? Yes. This is Tatiana Maslany, who played She-Hulk. Now, we all remember how well She-Hulk went down. I wonder, does Tatiana Maslany have any children? Tatiana Maslany. So I wonder if she has any children. She's 38 years old. Where's the Wikipedia? Spouses. She got married in 2022. I mean, that doesn't mean, but she's not there. No, she doesn't. She's not a mother, right? But don't worry. Don't think her incredible ignorance. I mean, look at the crazy eyes she's got going on there. Don't think her incredible ignorance and lack of knowledge will act as any form, right? Literally any form of disruption to a batshit bonkers insanity.
The Parental Bill of Rights, so requiring teachers to get parental consent when students want to change their name or pronouns at school. What's your thought on that?
I believe that it's outside of it should not be the control of the parents whether a child, how a child identifies,
Look, I understand, darling, that you're an actress, so you're a moron, right? I get that. And I understand you're an ignorant cunt because you don't have children, but you are your children's defender, right? Creating your children so they can go and have the best life possible is your job, is your sole job. And children often do want to do things that are very self-destructive because they're fucking children, you fucked up moron. Let's say, you know, is it out of the realm of a parent's consent to say if a children can have sex or not with an adult? Right, why not? Look, again, everything that the trans will say about raising children is exactly the same as NAMBLA, National Man-Boy Love Associations. Separate from the children, let them decide what they want, because they can be convinced they want anything, because they're fucking children, you fucking baby brain morons.
Child knows themselves to be, that isn't a parent's place. It's an overreach.
Sometimes children know themselves to be a hyena, you dumb cunt. Sometimes they know themselves to be a fairy.
Reach on the part of the provincial government to legislate that.
To legislate that the parental rights to protect their children from a popular insanity of sterilizing themselves. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea. Probably a good idea.
It's absurd.
It's absurd, says the ignorant cunt who doesn't have children. Children have rights. Yeah, they have rights to be protected from virtue-signaling baby brain morons like you.
Children have rights. Children are human beings who have knowledge and who know themselves, and we should be taking cues from them. In so many ways, we should be taking cues from them.
Again, that's 100% the NAMBLA position.
Listening to them, empowering them to know who they are and to...
They're children. They're not little adults, you moron. Right, again, look at the crazy eyes going on. Holy crap.
to name that. It's their right. It's not the parents' right.
It's not a question of right or wrong. It's a question of protecting the child and protect them from perverts as well, for that matter. But anyway, these are bigger questions right now. Let's talk about who's going to protect Doctor Who. Clearly not, right? I said Farage was the only hope for Doctor Who, right? Clearly not. I'll do it. I do it again. Rusty Davis says no problem rewriting the show's history and canon contradictions. I know he does it, right? Because everything Capaldi onwards, and this has been the attitude since Capaldi. So everything Capaldi onwards is not Doctor Who, right? And I'm sorry, Shooty just hasn't sold it to me at all. Some people say, yeah, he could do it, he could be great, but the scripts are, I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence to it, really. Maybe he's great, maybe he's not. His voice has always been weak. He was able to distract from that quite effectively during the Christmas special, because there's a lot of physicality he was doing, like the running across the rooftop thing. When he's doing like physical stuff, he's really able to detract from his weakness as an actor, which is really quite a lot, right? Rusty Davis saw it and said, everyone's going to love him. And the smugness from this production team, the relentless smugness, like, we don't care if we piss everybody off, we don't care, because we're going to have a huge new audience. Really? Lowest rated ever, right? Lowest rated ever. For a good reason. They think they mean anything. They spend minutes, and they think dooming something, you dumb cunt. You did. And believe me, if it was highly rated, then the ratings would mean something. Oh, and the bullshit they say about it's doing so well with children, with younger demographic? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's getting about 0.8% more than it did under Chibnall, which was pathetically low, right? So no, it's not. And the fact you need to lie relentlessly, I think, somewhat proves my bloody point, don't you? Yes, I think we could all happily agree on that. Well, I say happily. I think I could happily agree on that. Anyway, let's read this article. Dr. Shomron Rusty Davis has explained why he doesn't have an issue rewriting the show's history, because it's not Doctor Who. That's why. We doesn't have an issue rewriting the show's history and canon contradictions in the future episodes. Yeah, it's not Doctor Who. Doctor Who season 14 ended focus on Return of Sutekh. Why bring him back if you're just going to change it completely? And Entity tried to regain power, resulting in the 15th Doctor having to fight it again in his new incarnation. This isn't the first time villains and places from the past have been part of a more modern stories, such as the Toymaker's return in the 6th anniversary. Toymaker was much more effective. I'm sorry. I would have Neil Patrick Harris back with a better script. I think the Toymaker was much more effective. I mean, Scooby-Doo on top of a bloody TARDIS just seems a bit crap to me, right? That's what it looked like. Yeah, speaking of which, where is this? Oh, right. Let me open this up. 1 second. Doink. Open with Chrome. Honestly, that's what it looked like. And yes, it did. That's exactly what it looked like. Speaking with the Radio Times, Davis explains he has no problem with rewriting the show's history and making contradictions in canon to make room for a familiar adventure with Doctor Who. How's it familiar? What? How's this in any way familiar? The showrunner used the Atlantis history in the series as an example of how he would go back there and to look at any other familiar location if an exciting story could be told there. What exciting story was told? You had, so you had the Legend of Ruby Sunday. I'm trying to, what was the plot of that? Can you remember the plot of it? It was so here. Let's do a Doctor Who episode guide. 1 second. Doctor Who. I know. Season 1, 2024. Fine, Wikipedia. I mean, let's see if they have the fine. What was it? The synopsis? I can't even remember it. Right? The Doctor and Ruby visit unit headquarters to investigate the woman they have seen throughout time. Oh, fine. So you had that Susan Twist thing. You already know her, and they think maybe she's Susan. And they have that 3D. Oh, God, I remember it all now. Fine. So there's a 3D production. Okay, so they go to unit to try and work out the mystery of the season. They have a bit of insane tech that doesn't make any sense. And it turns out Sutek has returned. That was it, essentially. And then Mel was quite good. I mean, it was a paper thin plot. There was no story there, right? What was the point of that story? There was no story, right? Last of the Time Lords, a story has to have a point. Has to have something it's trying to say. And will say nothing, right? It will say absolutely nothing. And then you had Empire of Death, when turned out Sutek had been there all the time, and they leashed him to the TARDIS, and then he brought death to death, bringing everybody back to life again. There was no story, right? There was no point that you were making with that. So there was no sort. I mean, you could say with Mordred Undead, there was a really interesting story there. Right, and again, I'm supposed to be Ian Chesterton, not the Brigadier, but who cares? It was a great story. There was no great story to sell this, right? It destroyed Atlantis 3 times in its history, and if somebody came to me tomorrow with a great story about the destruction of Atlantis, I'll do it again. Well, yeah, I think they've. I think you could say they're different legends of Atlantis. You got what was the 3 times they had Atlantis? You had the one with. Actually, I somebody mentioned this the other day. There was the fish people went on strike, and you had the time monster. Hang on a second. Let me have a look. Atlantis Doctor Who. We'll look at fandom. Okay, that's it. Underwater Menace. Where else? First mentioned in the Lost Ones. So is this just Underwater Menace? First Doctor, Wall City of Atlantis. Well, that what he was. That was more just called Atlantis. Underwater Menace. Okay, so it must be meet astronauts heading from the Wall City of Atlantis on the planet Vortis. So that must be what's the word again? What's the name of the story? With the giant wasp people. I can't bloody remember. Doesn't matter. They'll do it again. In the 1960s, William Hartnell, they went to Troy and did a Wooden Horse, so that wouldn't stop me doing Troy and a Wooden Horse again now. Again, fine, you've rebooted Doctor Who. I understand that, but why can't you just reboot the timeline or something to make all this make sense? I mean, essentially, that's what Moffat did it with his first season, right? He rebooted reality. Because I guess Moffat gave a shit, whereas Russell Davies is just high on his own farts. Oh, it's going to be so queer. Everyone's going to love it. You think so? Not really. Should Doctor repeat eventually an upcoming season? Well, listen, this is the way they should do it. And this is literally the only way to move Doctor Who forward at this point, right? You start off, you have I would say a 3-year plan. You start off a completely new Doctor in a TARDIS. Somewhat he's amnesiac, but he understands how to use the TARDIS, and he understands things as they need to be understood. Like maybe he recognizes the Daleks, maybe he doesn't, right? It's a reboot universe, and it's basically as the story needs it, he remembers or he doesn't remember, or that kind of thing, right? And then at some point during that season, you have a hint, history. You have a strong indication of the past history of the Doctor, right? You see they find a buried thing from another universe, which is a picture of the second Doctor and Jamie, or something like that, right? And you basically build it up and say everything that happened after Capaldi shattered reality, and they came together and rebooted reality to create this new Doctor. But basically, you can take it from scratch. But once you do that, I spoke about this last stream. You could totally do a new version of Tomb of the Cybermen. Right. In fact, that was in the Leakley Bible, I think, to redo some classic episodes, that was going to be the McGann series, I think. Yeah, that was going to be the McGann series. That was the idea. So that's really the only way to do it. Do it now, I guess. But I mean, everything they do is just indicating, reiterating that this isn't canon, right? This is not the same Doctor Who as William Hartnell, which is why they keep calling Judy Gut with the 15th Doctor, right? David's canon response to the possible repeated adventures in the series is already reflected in the returning villains seen in the recent episodes, because the show has been utilizing history to tell more stories. Like, yeah, I know it's been to its detriment. You know why? Because it's not about telling stories. It's not about moving forward, right? And that's why I think it's failing. Do I have the clip of Nigel Farage saying it's? I used to watch it. Now it's rubbish. Let me see. I think I do. Where would I have that?
40th question time that I've done over the years. No, I expect an audience not all to agree with me. But I don't expect the first questioner to be somebody who has produced 8 separate BBC programmes over the course of the last year, including Doctor Who, which I used to love, and they've completely ruined. And then...
No greater reason to be Prime Minister than that.
And then the third questioner, a pro-Palestinian known activist. Does anyone think that group of people were representative of the great British public in any way at all?
No, they're representative of the BBC. And that's why nobody watches shit from the BBC. Somebody just was talking to me in the chat. Dividing Dragon said, if Rusty revisits early stories, he will butcher them all in the and the time. He already has done. He already has done. Again, Sutek's been wrapped around the TARDIS for thousands of years, and nobody noticed. Even when the TARDIS was destroyed and rebuilt. Really? You see, you're getting my bad stomach now coming up about how disgusting I am with it. Because it wouldn't be surprising when Doctors go back to like Atlantis or Troy in Doctor Who's season 15. It's gone for a new lens on location. Oh, maybe they're all gay now. Probably. That would make sense. Especially the adventure happens to be the adventure that happened is vastly different from the previous appearance. So why bring it back? Since the show has been pulling from its original series of late, it wouldn't be surprising if more locations are familiar faces. So this is just a desperate attempt to legitimize itself, right? Because it's going very anti what Doctor Who actually is. However, season 15 released in 2025 will also... I mean, they're definitely going to have... I expect very strongly they have Silurians and Sea Devils in season 15 because they're filming a spin-off with them. Starting in September. Apocalypse. Hopefully, the Apocalypse will happen or stop that. Who knows, right? Who knows? Anyway, season 15 released in 25 will mark the 20th anniversary of the arrival of the show. It's more like location on the night. No, it's not. Will show up soon. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't gone back to New Earth, where maybe they all like to have gay sex. That wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form. This could include anywhere from Cardiff in 1869 to Salt Lake City, Utah, 2012. Since David is open to, is this the entire story? This is just blabbering insanity at this point. Fine. Before we get to Neil Gaiman, let's have a quick look, see if there's any good Doctor Who news that we should know about. Where do we go over here? Do a search on... So then we'll do a search on Bleeding Cool. Doctor Who. Former Doctor Who showrunner teases British and Star will break your heart in upcoming... Oh, yes, but not the way that you think, right? It's not fun. Doctor Who season 14 most obscure cameo unpacked by the showrunner. Who's this most... Okay, I'm vaguely intrigued. Oh, is it? It's not fun. It's not just fun. Well, let's see what let's just read his quote. Don't have to go through the whole thing. Talking about the Schalke Doctor, apparently. I wrote to writer Paul Cornell the night before saying, please watch tomorrow because there's such a treat in store. And he was delighted because it's really nice when you can do things like that. Well, I'm glad you think you work things out for your friends, mate. That was a really nice moment between me and him, me and Paul. We're old friends going back decades. Oh, very good. That's lovely. It was lovely. Just a bit of payment because he created the Ninth Doctor with the Shulker, and we completely replaced him with Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor. So how nice all these years later to take a little lean back and sort of say the door's open now. Thanks to the timeless child. Fuck off. You can come in. Yeah, destroy the character. Man. I like, how do people want to fuck up Doctor Who more than it's beyond me, right? It is beyond me. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? Like how can you be this incredibly dumb, right? How can you be this dumb? Look up Doctor on Bleeding Cool. See if there's any new news. Bleeding Cool. Doink. And let's see if there's anything in the ladies and comics. Let's look at on TV. Doctor Who Grumpy. Sorry, Grumpy. The Disney era is for teens and kids. They don't like it. You know, I hate to be the one to tell you this. Teens and kids aren't watching it. They think it's shit too. You know why they think it's shit? I'm going to give you a chance to guess. Why do you think they think it's shit? It's because it's shit. Again, is anybody watching? There's always a twist at the end. On TikTok, nobody gives a shit. It's been an utter fail in every way. And when they say it's doing great for that demographic, they're lying. Right? They're lying. Again, it got a 0.8 bump from the Chris Chibnall era. Right? They're lying. Thus all settled on a complete first season of Doctor Who. It's been a massive failure. Now available on Disney Plus and BBC Buy Player. I'm like, who's going to buy the Blu-ray of it as well? Are you out of your mind? With DVD, like why? I got it on streaming. I got it on streaming, and I don't like it. And it's worth assessing the series. There have been much grumbling and gnashing of teeth amongst fans of both the classic era and the 2005 revival, who complain the show isn't the same. Yeah, it's shit. It's more juvenile. It's dumb, right? More crass. All that's true. More mawkish. More and emotional. Not emotional. Just crying a lot because he's a pussy. Right, and all of that is on purpose. It will feature on the new. It's a feature of the new year, not a bug. Yes, we know. It's what we call mind-meltingly bad decision making. Right, mind-meltingly bad decision making. We have where was it? We have a complaint that the show isn't the same. Returning Russell T Davies designed this iteration of Doctor Who for kids and teenagers, not interested in the slightest, and adults more. Those older than teens can come along for a ride if they like. They don't like, and they're not interested. It's a failure, right? Again, Russell T Davies was asked to return to as showrunner for Doctor Who and ushered in the series into a streaming era badly. Had he been thinking about it for a long time after assessing the current state of television? Younger viewers are mostly streaming now. They're mostly not watching TV, right? A few series on BBC television get higher figures, normally considered a hit. British drama, and also needs international production partners to get budgets they need. Again, I think things are too expensive. This era of Doctor Who was way too expensive, right? For absolutely no payoff for it as well. The TARDIS set was shit and didn't do anything for it at all. Davis didn't want just to repeat the common tropes of the series with fan fiction to pander to fans. Yeah, he did. Actually, yeah, he did. This is his fan fiction. It's queer Doctor Who. That's exactly what he wanted to do. You know that for Doctor Who to survive, is being destroyed. It had to evolve and updated to appeal to new fans. They're not interested. How many times they tried this? This mythical new audience that doesn't exist. They're convinced it's there, but isn't. New fans, that is children, teenage Gen Z. They're not watching it. They're not interested. They think it's shit. Davis has said that he spoke to a lot of kids and young people and found out now they're dealing with mental health issues in order to make Doctor Who not only brighter and more hopeful, but also offer a way to express emotions. That's how Shooter Gat was Doctors is the youngest, even though Matt Smith was younger than Gatway when he first got cast, but played him as an old man, a young man. But no, he didn't. Not really. He played him asexually, which I think was far more successful, right? Most emotional with his heart on his sleeve, given to outpouring of rage and grief more than any of his previous Doctors' day. Yeah, he's not very good as a Doctor. Billy Gibson as Ruby has reconfigured the companion archetype in what way? From Billie Piper's Rose in 2005, she's a Gen Z companion with an emotional arc. She has more emotional arc than Shooty. Now, finding identity and representing the children in Britain who grew up and were supported in foster care. Oh, yeah, all those. Okay, fine. That's a mainstream thing. What's wrong with family? All right, again, what's wrong with wholesome good values? No, that's not 2024 enough. Kids don't like that. Excuse me. You're offering them the same pap they get everywhere else, and no one's interested in it. Try offering them something authentic. Again, this is just you pushing your queer fan fiction at kids and saying, come on, kids, it's okay, everything's fluid. David wanted a Doctor Who series, and teens could discover fresh for the first time, because that's how it's always been how the series worked for kids to survive a series. But no, it's been for intelligent kids, but it's not been. This isn't for kids. This is for narcissistic adults. Must survive so that every Doctor and companion that a kids of generation can claim their own. Again, nobody's claiming Jodie. No one's looking back with going, oh, what a great era. No, nobody's interested. It's not only about bringing joy to kids, but also ensuring that the series continues to survive rather than get cancelled. It's going to get cancelled. Well, not really, because I think results have no bearing on it whatsoever. Older fans watch the new series and they can grumble. It's not like the one they grew up with. Yeah, we went to touch grass instead, along with everybody else. That's because it's a kids show now. Davis and the BBC know that Gen Z's viewing habits are different and from the live broadcast of it's been a failure. Again, it's like Magnus Grill screaming the Zeta experiments were a success. They weren't. Oh, realities can be crushing to people sometimes, can't it? Gen Z habits, classic series. Oh, the revival 2005. They mostly watch on streaming now, and any TV show has to compete with what kids are watching on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. Well, they're not. It's dying a death. Doctor has to be a faster, frenetic, dynamic, and more fanish to keep the kids watching, and not they didn't switch on to switch off and take their eyes off their phones. According to give them an authentic experience, and they would stay. According to Davis, his and the BBC's main priority was to ensure Doctor was the top series amongst kids and Gen Z on iPlayer. Oh, right, on iPlayer, because everybody loves iPlayer. It appears to be a great success. It's incorrect to assume that this is just spin. It's incorrect to assume because the ratings from the live broadcast are the most. They're not less from the live broadcast. They're not from the live broadcast. They also, fuckface. These all include streaming numbers. Excuse me. Every single one of them includes streaming numbers. Live broadcast. Doctor is going to be indefinitely available for streaming. It's about the long game, having the entire series always available and right for discovery and the word of mouth. Nobody's doing it. Disney Plus has not revealed the global viewing figures of the series because they're shit. If they were good, they'll be screaming them from the rooftops. But the series is on brand for its target audience of kids, young female viewers, and families. No, it's not. Again, that's just a lie. For older viewers, and especially grumpy old men, the series no longer is for them. If they can enjoy it, so the kids they intended. It's for no one. It's a crushing failure. Right? Crushing failure. Oh, yeah, man. Shooty's charging a bloody fortune for his signature. Do they have the no, here? So somebody told me how much he's charging for this. And it is cray-cray, right? Absolutely cray-cray. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. So he's doing his first Comic-Con. He's charging $296 for the Diamond Pass. What that gives you? $125 for a standard autograph. $20 to talk to him. 95 for a standard photo, 140 for a green screen photo shot, and a hand job for free. That I think is very good. Shooty, thank you. He'll give you a hand job for free. Well, there you go. man. So I'm not going to compare season 1, season 14 to the first Jodie's, because that's still the winner, okay? Shooter's first season beats this. Woman Who Fell to Earth, probably the best episode of the season. Ghost Morning was the best episode of the season. Rosa shit, Arachnid UK shit, Saranga Conundrum shit, Deals of Punjab shit, Kablam shit, Witchfinder shit, Takes You Away, everything. Shit. And then it's like, oh no, we're gonna make it much bigger next year. We're gonna make it much bigger. We got Spyfall. And schmuck that I am, and I am a schmuck, right? I thought, maybe they're gonna turn it around, right? Maybe they're gonna turn it around. No. Although I do think the production values in Spyfall were good. Stephen Fry completely wasted. And it's just badly written. Like Orphan 55, the lowest point of Doctor Who. That was this the nadir of Doctor Who. Only marginally better, fractionally better, is Nikolai Tesla's Night of Terror, Night of Extreme Boredom, Future of the Dune, a really shit episode that made no sense whatsoever. Praxius, in which you had a gay policeman and a gay astronaut being gay. And that was basically it. Can you hear me? Apparently Yaz was bullied for being Muslim in Yorkshire. Really? It's like me being bullied for being Jewish in Israel. Yeah, I don't think so. The haunting of Villa Dildo. No. Essential Assignment. No. Timeless Children. Shit. Revolution of the Dalek. Fine. So there. I think that is... so which is better, actually? I think this is fractionally better, fractionally worse than Shooter's first season, right? But let's have a look. Fine. Halloween Apocalypse. So, other than Jodie Whittaker, who is always nail on a chalkboard, right? Always nails on a chalkboard. This threw up a lot of different things against the wall, and it moved at a reasonable pace, so it felt like Doctor Who to a Norman, right? I mean, again, it's unwatchably bad, but it still had more a closer. It was closer to Doctor Who than anything they'd done before, and I did like Carvanista, right? I genuinely like Carvanista. War of the Sontarans, I thought, well, again, Jodie Whittaker is shit. She's awful every time you see her on screen. What an awesome cold opening, though, right? That cold opening was fantastic with their fight where they turn out their fight the Sontarans. That was a really good Doctor Who opening, right? I do commend for that. I remember it had quite a good cliffhanger as well, right? What was that cliffhanger? Oh, that they're standing in the temple of the whatever, and they're about to be touched by, I can't remember, and that'll be zapped. So then you have Once Upon a Time. That was really bad, right? That was really, really genuinely bad. Bit of a Jodie heavy episode. Then you got Village of the Angels, probably one of the strongest bits of the season. Again, unwatchably bad, but at least it kind of felt and looked a bit like Doctor Who if you squinted. Survivors of the Flux and The Vanquish, it just fell apart completely. All right, so this is going to be hard to compare. Okay, out of 10 or 100, what should I score it? I think out of 10. Out of 10, I'll give the Halloween Apocalypse. I'll give it a 4. No, I'll give it a 3, right? I'll give it the 3.5, right? So you got 3.5. Well, I bet I might as well say 35 then. We'll do that instead. Let's do the average rating. So we got 35 out of 100. War of the Sontarans gets 40, right? Because there were there were some actually quite strong parts of that, right? So that gets a 4 out of 10, 40 out of 100. Once Upon a Time, 2.5 or maybe 2. No, I'm going to go with 2.5, right? 2.5. So we got 35 plus 40, 35 plus 40 plus 20. Village Angel, I'm going to go back up to 4. I'm going to give that a 4, right? I did it wrong again. 35. 35 plus 40 plus 20 plus, so I'm going to go 40 for Village of the Angels. Survivors of the Flux gets 2.5. Yeah, that gets 2.5, I think. And then Vanquishers gets 1.5. So that gives it an average rating of, divide that into 6. 2.9, right? It gives it an average rating of 2.9. Fine. So let's compare it to Space Babies, okay? Space Babies, what would I give that? I think I'll give that look at the ratings. And by the way, do you notice they keep the AI figures totally hidden now? Right? Still missing in action. I wonder why. Because it didn't do very well. Bottom line. Space Babies, I will give that very low, actually. Very low. 2.5, right? Yeah, very low. Devil's Cord, I give 1. All right. I'm sorry, the Jinx Monsoon thing doesn't work for me for reasons I've spoken about at quite some length. So Boom, that should get, again, no more than a 3.5. Blimey, it's really low. Okay, 73 yards. See, this is like the first 20 minutes holds together, then it falls apart. So I guess you got to go with it in its entirety. So 73 yards. See, look, both Boom, Devil's Cord, and Space Babies, and Dot and Bubble, right? And Rogue, and Empire, they all completely implode. Whereas they didn't really so much with the, they weren't good, but with Flux, they didn't really implode. It wasn't like a complete, collapse. Weird. It's really weird, right? I don't know. So what am I up to? So 73 yards. What should I give that? I don't think you can give it more than a 3, right? I don't think you can give it more than a 3. And Dot and Bubble, I think the same thing. Rogue gets a 1. 0.5, right? It gets a 0.5. And then, oh man, Legend Ruby Sunday gets I'm going to give it 2.5. I think that's fair. Then Empire of Death, because it just it just didn't deliver in any way. I'm going to give that a 2, I think. So let's divide that into 8. Oh! Flux is better. Up me. Flux is better. This comes up with a 2.25 while Flux came up with a 2.9. So now we've answered that question. Which is better? I think that these are reasonably good ratings as well. And let's go through it again. Like Space Babies, you can't give a good rating to because it was just like empty pap, right? Whereas and it had less to recommend it than the Halloween Apocalypse, for example. Yeah, it really did. It really did. It really had less to recommend. Devil's Cord, again, shit in every way and evil, right? I do not think it's a good thing to try and convince children that gender and sexuality is fluid because it really isn't. Boom, I didn't like the central measure, but at least it was crafted like an episode, but also let down by Shooter's very weak performance. Like Shooter's been has let down a lot of these episodes with his very weak performance. So that's why 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble were better because Shooty wasn't in them. Rogue was just the worst though. I mean, just like again, there's nothing to recommend any of these stories. I stand by that. I think Flux is better than Shooty Season 1, right? I think Flux is better than Shooty Season 1. And look, we had many unanswered questions at the end of Flux. I think we got quite a big number of questions not answered as well. Here, let's have a look. Here we got over here. 8 unanswered questions after the season 14's ending or season 1's ending. Well, just listen to me, right? Number 8, who is Mrs. Flood? Well, again, I'm not going to berate them for that. An old friend or a new enemy? There's a lot of rumors that she's really Clara because she wears the same kind of clothes Clara wore, like the sweater with the shirt collar sticking out of it. I don't really care about the answer to the question, but I don't think. Yeah, listen, I think that's an intentional question. Whereas with Flux, it was they just didn't think about it, right? So, who are all these things? Sutek, god of death. Toymaker, god of days. Maestro, god of the destroyer rating. Trickster, Mara. Mara's not the god of beasts. Where do you get this from? Did they talk about that in the? Is this what they said in the episode? I don't know. The threefold deity, gods of malice, mischief, and misery. I don't remember even seeing that. The reprobate, the god of spite, the incenser. Okay, wait. Who is all these people? Mr. Flood appear. Oh, wait, maybe it says over here. There are. Now I'm going to read this. Mrs. Flood outwardly appeared to a slightly batty old lady who lives next to Ruby Sunday, Carla, and Cherry. And however, Mrs. Flood has an enigmatic and slightly sinister edge to her character and has knowledge that Forex sees the everyday pensioner. Firstly, Mrs. Flood knows what a TARDIS is. Well, at the beginning, she didn't know what a TARDIS was, which was a bit weird, right? I wonder if they're ever going to address that as that's just a plot hole, right? It could well just be a plot hole. There's a TARDIS like Jinx Monsoon is able to interact with the audience by breaking the fourth wall. Again, I just think that's just shit lazy writing, quite frankly. This is the costume they say is they correctly say is something very similar to what Clara wore. Is able to interact with the audience, breaking the fourth wall, has the ability to suggest that she could be a member of the Pantheon of Gods. Does her petty argument with Abdul in the Church on Ruby Road suggest she's a god of spite? Did they mention any of these things? I mean, I guess they did. I wasn't really paying attention. There are various other possibilities. I don't really care. The white fur coat and hood is very similar to one worn by Mary Tam as Romana. But one. Much better, right? Much better. What's going on with Ruby's father? Nothing, right? He's a man. It doesn't matter. And if it's as little as was going on with Ruby's mother, oh, God, Jesus fucking Christ. A whole season of having your balls tickled. Oh, who's your mother? Oh, what a mystery. Oh, it's just no one. God, Russell, what a fucking letdown. I mean, like, you could have even had to be a chick with a dick, right? And then, she magically had a baby. Because, trans women are women, obviously. Who's the father? We're never going to... It doesn't matter. He's just a man. Where is the Doctor's granddaughter? Again, this was just member bearers they threw into legitimize Shooty. But I don't think we're going to have any looking from Susan whatsoever. You want to know where she is? She's at Big Finish, doing quite well for herself. Where did Rogue end up? Somewhere very gay, probably. Somewhere very, very gay. I mean, like, really, why do I want to see this ever again, right? It's like, and this wasn't a love story. This was a sex story, right? Very different from a love story. Where does the Sharko Doctor fit in the canon? Who cares? There is no canon anymore. Rusty Day has basically said that the other day. There is no canon anymore. Although Richard E. Grant's best guest appearance was in Loki. I loved him being one of the Lokis, right? The camera does canonize Grant's Doctor as a legitimate incarnation. No, because none of this is canon, right? I'm sorry, everything after Capaldi is not canon. Since the revelation of the future of Doctor and Timeless Children, there are no revelations. It makes no sense. We don't care. We're not interested. This is just cultural vandalism. Who is Meet the Beats rogue boss? I don't bloody care. I guess we'll find out this season sometime. Probably the Sea Devils. What's the deal with the 14th Doctor? It was a terrible idea of Russell T Davies that completely failed, right? And what's the deal? What's the deal with the 14th Doctor? He's now the most powerful, the most excruciating, annoying, obnoxious couple that I think since Harry and Meghan, right? No one's given any thought to this. Who picked up the toy maker's gold tooth? That could be Mrs. Flood, right? That could well be Mrs. Flood, but will they ever pick up on it? I don't really care. That's it. Okay, that's it. But again, none of these things are plot holes, right? That's not a plot hole. This is. That's not a plot hole, it just doesn't matter. That's a plot. Again, that's an intentional plot hole. Where did Rogue end up? That is not even a plot hole. That's part of the story. And that doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, shut up. This is just stupid, right? This is just stupid. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.